Welcome back to Jet Recaps. Today I will show you an action movie from 2012, titled Django Unchained. The first scene starts off in Texas. In the year 1858, two white slave traders march a group of shackled black slaves on foot. Among them is a slave called Django, sold off and separated from his wife. At night, they are approached by a stranger on a horse and carriage. He is a German dentist turned bounty hunter named Dr. King Schultz. He asked the slave traders if they were the Speck brothers, Ace and Dickie, because he wanted to buy their slave, Django, for his knowledge of three outlaw brittle brothers. This angers Ace, who levels his gun at Schultz, and refuses to sell Django. Notwithstanding, Schultz kills him and shoots Dickie's horse, pinning Dickie down. Afterwards, he insists on paying Dickie a fair price for Django. And he then leaves Dickie to the mercy of the other slaves. The next day, Schultz and Django ride into Daugherty, Texas. As they ride in the town, Django's status as a freeman raises suspicion. They stop at an inn, which startles the innkeeper, who later runs away. Alone, Schultz reveals to Django that he is a bounty hunter. And he needs Django's help in identifying the Brittle brothers from the Carrican plantation, as Django had once worked in the Carrican plantation. In exchange for Django's help, he promised to set Django free. And he also offered to share the bounty on the Brittle brothers' head. As they continue their discussion, the innkeeper returns with the town sheriff. But Schultz kills the sheriff with a quick draw. Later, Schultz asks Django what he will do with his freedom. Django tells him he will free his wife, Broomhilda, who is a house slave, as they were separated when they tried to escape the Carrican plantation together. Schultz is surprised to hear he is married. He is even more surprised when Django tells him Broomhilda speaks German. The next morning, they arrive at Tennessee, where Schultz explains his plan to Django. And he tells Django that he is to act as his valet. The next day, they ride to a plantation belonging to a man called Bennett. And with the help of a female slave, they find the Brittle brothers there. Django kills two of them while Schultz rides up, and kills the third. Bennett let them leave after he looks at a warrant. Later that night, Schultz tells Django a German story associated with the name Broomhilda. He tells him how a hero, Siegfried, once saved a princess named Broomhilda. Now feeling responsible for Django, he vows to help him find his wife. Then they return to Texas, where Django collects his first bounty. And he keeps the handbill as a memento under the instruction of Schultz. They continue to rack up several bounties during the remaining period of winter. And then in spring, they head out to Mississippi. There, they learn that Broomhilda was sold to a man named Calvin Candy. Calvin, who owns a plantation named Candyland, is a big fan of Mandingo fighting, a blood sport where slaves are forced to fight to death. Schultz and Django think of ways to buy Broomhilda from Calvin. But they know Calvin will price her beyond their reach if they try up front. So, they devise a plan that requires Django to act as a Mandingo expert. And then, they will offer to buy Calvin's best fighter for a ridiculous amount. An amount Calvin can't reject. And with this, he will be glad to sell Broomhilda for a normal price. The next day, they meet Calvin at his gentleman's club. And they offer him $12,000 for his best Mandingo fighter. Intrigued by their offer, he invites them over to Candyland. On their way, they encounter Calvin's slave trackers, who cornered an escapee Mandingo fighter. Schultz attempts to save him, but Django stops him from blowing their cover. And the escapee is mauled to death by dogs, which upset Schultz. On reaching Candyland, Calvin introduces them to his widowed sister, Laura Lee. He also introduces them to Stephen, his loyal and manipulative black head house slave. They learn from Stephen that Broomhilda is serving punishment in a hot cellar, as she had been caught when she attempted running away. But Calvin orders her release when Schultz wishes to speak German with her. Later in the day, Calvin's sister presents Broomhilda to Schultz upstairs. Schultz tells Broomhilda in German about his plans to rescue her. He also tells her about a mutual friend who is there to see her. But she faints when she sees Django. At dinner, Stephen realizes that Broomhilda knows Django. And he alerts Calvin that they are scheming behind his back, along with Schultz. Angry, Calvin threatens to kill Broomhilda with a hammer unless they pay the $12,000. Schultz agrees and Calvin releases her. After dinner, Calvin's lawyer, Mogi, draws up the bill of Broomhilda's sale. But as they are about to leave, Calvin demands to shake hands with Schultz. But Schultz refuses, as he kept thinking about how heartless Calvin is. Calvin then threatens to kill Broomhilda if Schultz doesn't shake his hands. Infuriated, Schultz draws his gun and kills him. And Calvin's bodyguard, Butch, retaliates and kills Schultz. Django then kills Butch and a chaotic shootout begins. But Django is forced to surrender when Broomhilda is held hostage by Steven. The next morning, Django wakes up in a shed, hung upside down. He is about to be castrated when Steven intervenes. He suggests Django is sent to a mining camp to be worked to death. On the way to the mining camp, Django tries to convince his Australian transporters. He tells them that a large bounty for a man awaits at Candyland. And he shows them the handbill he has kept from his first bounty as proof. When they release him, he executes them and steals their dynamites. He then head back to Candyland and he retrieves Broomhilda's bill of sale. After setting Broomhilda free, he waits at the mansion as Calvin mourners return. When they enter the mansion, he kills Lara and the remaining henchmen. And after releasing the other servants, he shoots Steven on the knees. On his way out, he ignites the dynamite which destroys Candyland to the ground. The movie comes to an end as he and Broomhilda ride off together into the night. If you enjoyed this recap, kindly like and subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon. Do let us know what you think about the movie in the comments section below. Enjoy other movie explanations on our channel. Thanks for watching.